There's a lot of countries you could drop me in, and I'd be okay. You know.
Okay.
So people come up to me speaking every kind of language.
But how
do
do you identify yourself? Like, who are you?
Who am I? Man, I'm Lawrence Linker. You know, that's it. I'm cool with that. You know, I can say that I feel like I definitely feel that I have a black identity, but I'm not attached to other people's views on me.
I don't know why, but I can't seem to get you off my mind. And I know it's true, and I'll say this to you, I want you back. There's something inside, yeah, there's something inside that brings me back to you, yeah. No, I can't hide it. No, I can't hide it anymore. Something inside, something inside. Oh, yeah.
Welcome to another episode of the Melanated Files. My name is Ranzo, and today we're joined by Lawrence Linker. He is the CEO of MBA Link right here in Singapore, and as well as the founder of BlackNet. So what is BlackNet, you might ask me? Lawrence is going to tell you right now. So first of all, Lawrence, please tell them who you are and what you do in Singapore.
Sure. So my name is Lawrence Linker. I'm American. I've been living in Singapore for 7 years.
Okay.
And I'm the founder and CEO of a MBA admissions consulting and GMAT prep firm called MBA Link. And I'm also the founder of a nonprofit organization called BlackNet, which is the Black Professionals Network of Singapore.
Okay. So tell me, your background first.
Sure.
Right? You lived in Kenya for a while.
I did.
So tell me about your background and how you grew up.
Sure. So my mother was born in Haiti. My father is a white Jew from New York. When I was 3, my mother married a Kenyan guy, and when I was 9, we actually moved to Kenya.
Okay.
So I spent about close to 5 years living in Nairobi before living in Florida for high school.
Okay. So right now we're actually in a place called Cafe Utu, right here in Singapore as well. The food is actually really, really good. I gotta say, y'all know I know good food, right? You guys know this. I want to get into BlackNet, right? So you came here 7 years ago.
Yeah.
What was the motivation?
Sure. So basically, I came to Singapore with a private equity firm working on a specific portfolio company that was doing some stuff, sort of biorenewables, agricultural recycling. Like 3 months after I got here, the investors really weren't interested in supporting the project anymore.
Okay.
And I found myself, if I wanted to stay in Singapore, really needing to network. So I started reaching out to those groups that it just really made the most sense for me to reach out to, which for me was my undergraduate university, the alumni of that community, my grad school, other Americans, that's my nationality, right? But I was having a hard time, I was just really trying to meet as many people as possible. Now, sort of coincidentally, through this networking, I started being put in touch with folks. I sort of coincidentally met a few Black people.
Okay.
And I would ask, I think there's always this feeling, especially if you move someplace really foreign, like in Asia, where you meet another Black person by coincidence, and you kind of have this moment where you're like, hey, and I was having this feeling a couple times, and then I was like, do you all know each other? And they didn't. And I was like, well, there's got to be some kind of like Black network here, right? And there wasn't. And actually, almost everyone that I met was like, no, there isn't. But man, that would be great. There should be one.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? If there's anything better. So one thing I learned from a boss, a long time ago, he said, a lot of people try to enter a network from the attitude of, what can I get, but actually the best thing you can do is go, what can I give, right? Try to serve the network that you're interested in cultivating. So I thought to myself, if I could provide some kind of a structure for this community to be able to start getting to know each other, people really getting to know each other, then that would be something that would be really valuable.
Okay. And also, you told me something earlier. So you said to me, when you told people that you were black, they were like, "What?"
Yeah,
so
you know
I
what?
wanna, because I know people are watching right now. They're gonna ask.
They're gonna see
what's
this Mexican doing on here, right? You know what, Renzo? I have a weird history with blackness. You know, because in my primary nuclear family, Siri thinks I'm talking to her. You know, if I show you a picture of my mom, even her, you would almost say like she's like barely black, right? Okay. She's like Caribbean. I'm sure you've seen this look before.
Yeah,
you know?
in Jamaica even.
Mixed folks. But because of the history of racial discrimination and slavery and stuff like that, you find that a lot of people who are mixed in the Western Hemisphere tend to be very proud of their black side, right? Because that's just the way that it's been, you know. And I think some of that was inherited, you know, passed down to me.
Yeah.
But also, you know, in my nuclear family, so my stepfather is black, you know,
Kenyan,
pure
right?
African guy, yeah, Kenyan. My sisters are black, you know, so I think a lot of times our racial identity comes from our family. It's more so the people that we see being very close to us, almost more than because we don't look at ourselves except if we're looking in the mirror, right? Most of the time we see the people right around us.
Yeah, true.
But like in Kenya, I was the only kid in my class. Well, I guess there's a few Indians, but most of the kids I went to a black school in Kenya, right?
Yeah.
And then in the U.S. in high school, I went to, you know, at least among my group, you know, was majority white. So I always had these different reference points for race, and of course, just being Haitian, you know, in the United States, no matter how dark you are, a lot of times Haitians would not be considered black.
Really?
You know, yeah.
Really?
And I think there's some validity to that, right? I mean, I don't consider myself.
Asians I know are usually really dark.
They can be very dark, yeah, but the African American community oftentimes does not accept them as being a part of the African American community. So in so much as you're defining black as African American, then I think you could probably say I don't qualify.
No, when I
that.
say black, I mean like black, the phenotype. You understand from?
Yeah. I don't know. It depends on reference points. You know, some people
they accept it, and some people are like, I don't know. In terms of yourself.
Yeah, it totally depends on reference points. Typically speaking, I don't know what your thought was. Typically speaking, I find that Caribbean people feel that I'm black, right? Because they're used to seeing somebody like me and thinking of someone like me as black. Yeah, it depends, you know. I think people see what they want to see. So I get people asking me all the time, like Israelis come up to me like, "Oh, you got to be Israeli, right?" Indians,
I gotta say, I got that vibe though, a little bit, right?
That I could be Israeli.
Yeah, right. Or even like maybe even Arab a little bit as well.
Man, you know, I think the CIA missed out on a big opportunity when they didn't take me, because there's a lot of countries you could drop me in, and I'd be okay. You know.
Okay.
So people come up to me speaking every kind of language.
But how
do
you identify yourself? Like, who are you?
Who am I? Man, I'm Lawrence Linker. You know, that's it. I'm cool with that. You know, I can say that. I feel like I definitely feel that I have a black identity, but I'm not attached to other people's views on me. You know, if you want to tell me that I'm black or I'm not black, you know what I mean? I don't really
care.
I don't care. Yeah, I don't think about it too much. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna live my life as I do. You know.
Okay. So tell me about BlackNet.
Sure.
So you started BlackNet, and how has that grown? Tell me what you guys have done so far.
So BlackNet started pretty small. I think we had our first gathering. Must have been February 2013 was our first gathering, and it was just a bunch of these folks that I had met and saying, hey, let's get together meet each other and try to make like a regular thing out of it.
Okay.
And then those folks invited people, and then we started a mailing list. There was an initial little pop of excitement. It felt like where there was a lot of people that were like, "Oh, this really should be being done" and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I think, and maybe as is common with groups, there was a little bit of a power struggle within kind of people who were involved in the early stages of the group, and there was a little bit of a splinter in the group.
Splinter.
Yeah. And so there's other groups that have actually come out of BlackNet that are very, very successful on their own now, and they have kind of like a different thing. But for me, probably because of where I was at when I started BlackNet, I always saw it as really like an organization for professionals to be able to get to know each other and support each other.
And networking stuff.
And network, yeah. But that's grown in a lot of different areas. So one of the things that struck me was that the Black community of Singapore is really so international and has so many different incorporates so many different elements of the diaspora, right? So you have African Americans, you have Africans, you have Afro-Europeans, you have a few people of African origin who've grown up in Asia and really see themselves as Asian, So we were thinking, early on we saw this opportunity to start having some genuine cultural sharing among these groups.
Interesting.
Yeah, so one of our early events that was really, I would say really successful, is we held a panel on the Black British experience. And so we have all these, Black professionals here in Singapore talking about what it's like to grow up being Black in the UK. And I'll never forget, you see this audience of a lot of Black Americans in the audience looking like, like, I never thought about this,
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, So it was interesting. So there's a lot of that, right? We've done stuff with the Rwandan embassy. We've done something with the South African embassy, with the U.S. embassy. We've done food events. We've done games nights. Probably our biggest event was we rented out a whole theater for Black Panther when Black Panther came out. So we reserved an entire theater just for us.
Oh wow!
Which was really a blast. A lot of people dressed up in traditional African outfits, and we held a Afrobeats party afterwards as well. So
nice.
It was great. That ended up getting covered in Channel News Asia.
That movie was a big movie.
Yeah.
Right? I think a lot of people, it brought a lot of people pride, even though it was,
of
course, fictitious. And some people were saying, well, it's not real, Wakanda is not real. And some people
but it was real, right? Because it's an African American director with, African stars, so it's drawing from all these different parts of it was Black people coming together to make a movie that's, I think, like maybe this third highest revenue movie of all time, right?
It's up there, yeah.
Yeah. So in that sense, even though of course the setting of the movie is fictitious, but the movie is.
It had something,
real.
the energy behind, the energy behind it. Something about the award, right? Because you won an award for the work that you've done.
Yeah.
So tell us about that. What was it for?
So I won an award through a group called MyPad, which is Most Influential People of African Descent.
Okay.
It's a part of, they're sort of affiliated with the United Nations. So the United Nations, you know what, I'm sorry, I don't know the full history of this, but basically the UN are celebrating what they call the decade for people of African descent, where they're trying to do special recognition for influential people of African descent as a way of supporting Africa. And so there's a list they come up with, different categories: business, arts, humanities, so on and so forth. And they take 100 people under 40 every year. And I got nominated, and I was an honoree for 2019. The award ceremony is taking place at the United Nations General Assembly in New York, I think this week. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it. I won't be able to make it. But it's a great honor. I mean, there's really incredible people on that list. And to have the opportunity, I mean, the network itself is really incredible. So to have that access to that network of socially conscious, members of the diaspora around the globe is really validating for me in the work that we do. Yeah.
What's the African presence like, or the black presence like in Singapore? Do you know the stats in terms of the
How many people are here?
Yeah, the percentage of the population.
Yeah, I mean, as a percentage of the population, it's definitely small. I want to say we have around 500 on our mailing list.
Okay.
I can tell you that, for example, the Black Panther screening, we sold 200. We had 200. We rented out the theater, and we paid for this first, right? So we're like, oh man, I hope we can sell these tickets, right? We had 240 tickets to sell, and they were gone like this.
Wow.
So how many people? We don't know. We've heard some we've heard some figures that would suggest it's more than we think, and many people just aren't active. But between the hundreds and thousands.
Okay. Oh wow. Tell me about in your experience, what's the general attitude like for black people here?
Yeah.
Is colorism a thing in Singapore? I'm not sure.
That's a great question. So colorism, in the strict sense of, dark skin equals bad, is definitely a thing in Asia in general. I would say, right? I mean, you can't go anywhere and not, you'd have to be blind not to see the whitening ads, or
There's some countries out there.
fair-skinned girls walking around with the umbrellas because they're trying not to get tanned, right? And that can be hurtful, right? That's certainly not something that is encouraging for dark-skinned people to see. In the sense of racism, I mean, I don't think anybody does anti-black racism as well as the U.S. I think they really have it. They've got it figured out there, There's nothing like that over here, I think that, if you're African American, they'll most see you as American here. When I think about some of the long-term potential for what a BlackNet can do, and why I was so happy to do this interview with you, is because I feel like we have a great opportunity to really shape the narrative for black people in Asia, right? Because they don't have as strong of an identification of what it is to be black out here as they do in other parts of the world, right? Yeah. So we actually can get in front of that and show them the best of us and who we really are, rather than letting the Western media, which generally portrays us in a negative light, or often portrays.
Did you watch my last video? Because you're talking about my last video.
Am I?
Yeah, you literally, because
Is that right?
Yeah.
We're on the same page.
Right, yeah, that's one of the missions that we have as well.
Okay.
So it's okay.
Awesome.
What has the impact been like so far?
Yeah, good question. So I think for the last 6 years or so, for that phase, I think it was largely about bringing together the black people of Singapore, and I think that's worked really well. I mean, I've seen businesses get started from relationships that came out of BlackNet, marriages, like I said, other groups, that have formed from it. So I feel like we've been successful in that. I think in the next phase, there's going to be we're going to start integrating more with the local community, and hopefully finding ways to serve the local community as well, for that kind of cultural exchange.
So tell me just a little bit more about MBA Link before we go, right? So we've touched on BlackNet. We've gone in depth for the most part.
Yeah.
Tell me about the work that you've done with MBA Link so far. What motivated you to do it, and where you see yourself in 2 years.
Sure. So MBA Link, basically, we help young professionals cross that barrier from pre-MBA to MBA, right? So I did an MBA. I felt like it was a hugely influential kind of a thing for me. I'm a kind of a manager, I have like my artistic side. I have my, I have different sides of myself, but I've been interested in business since I was a little kid. Yeah. And I think in many ways, I'm really sort of like a business person at the core of it. And studying for MBA sort of gave me those skills to really be able to do stuff with that. Much in the same way, and you can see that through BlackNet, right? We've each found kind of our ways to contribute, right? Yourself as an artist and me as a manager. So MBA Link is really about me being able to create that experience or offer that experience to other folks. I think that there's a lot of people who, as young professionals, get very siloed into what they're doing, and they want to sort of expand the set of opportunities that they have access to. MBA can be a phenomenal way to do that, but they don't know how to frame their experience in a way that is, sort of more broad and more just more appealing for kind of what business schools are looking for.
I see.
You can't apply to business school. You could be like the best financial analyst or consultant or product manager, whatever you've done, but you can't apply to business school the same way you'd apply to like your next job in that industry.
I see.
Right? It's a different approach. It's a different mindset. It's just something that has taken up huge fascination for me at this point. I love that I get to work with incredibly bright, incredibly well-educated people and make a big difference in people's lives. So I'm really
nice. So well on your way to accomplishing your vision.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, well, look, we send people to all of the top schools in the world. We have a growing network of our own alumni out there that are really grateful for our help. So I feel very privileged to be in that position and be able to do that. We'd like to grow. I think there's other people out there doing similar stuff. I think our method is, it's a little different. I'm kind of operating under the hypothesis that our method is a little better.
Okay.
And I think that, the market will decide if I'm right. If we grow, that means people really like what we're doing more.
Yeah. And it also means it's effective, right?
It means it's effective, right? So that will be validating for me there.
So where can people find you online?
Sure. So if you're interested in talking about MBA admissions consulting or GMAT prep, you can find me at mymbalink.com. That's mymbalink.com. If you're going to be in Singapore and want to meet up with Black folks in Singapore, you can find us on blacknetsg.com. That's BLACKNETSG.com.
All right, there you have it. So Lawrence, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
All right.
I hope I can catch up with you in Tokyo sometime.
So guys, there you have it. This was Lawrence. Thank you so much again for watching. Remember, if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And remember to subscribe for weekly videos on the Black experience across the globe. Until next time, bye for now.